It's the Kosher Organic Ranchero, brought to you by Whole Foods Market and Got Kosher. With music by Gustavo Bulgach. Welcome to this celebration. I'm your host, Yomenu.
What is Purim? Purim is a story about someone who rose up and wanted to kill the people of Israel. But we miraculously prevailed. And yet, Purim is not just about wild celebration. No, hidden deep in Purim is a message that's relevant for all of us today and for all faiths. And that message is that we never know when a positive action on our part at a critical moment can make a difference for ourselves and for our entire community. We'll learn all about Purim with Rabbi Lionel Rosenfeld. We'll look closely at one of the greatest assembly of rare Megillot Esther, the Esther scrolls from the Brzezinski collection. We begin recognizing the meaning of Purim well in advance. We celebrate the coming of the month of Adar, in which Purim falls. And now, let's hear from Rabbi Lionel Rosenfeld and Cantor Netanel Baram from Young Israel of North Beverly Hills as they celebrate Purim.
Purim Sameach! Afreilach Purim! A happy Purim!
Hello everyone, I'm all dressed up for the Jewish holiday of Purim. So let's together learn all about it. Purim is such a joyous festival that even before it begins, we are already singing its happiness. And we say that when the month of Adar, the month in which Purim occurs, falls, we are already happy. We have four obligations in celebrating the holiday of Purim. The rabbis say, number one, we must read the book of Esther. We call it the Megillah. We read it on the evening of Purim and once again on the day. The second is the festivity and the rejoicing in the Purim meal, which ends the day of Purim. And in between, we have two more commandments. The first is to send gifts of food, 2 amounts of food as a minimum to one person. And finally, we have to give charity to the poor. Purim is not just a day when we come together in synagogue to thank God for our lives having been saved. It's not just a day when we celebrate for ourselves, because in Judaism, celebration cannot be complete until we go out and make sure that others have what we have. And we do that by the two very special, integral commandments of Purim. Mishloach manot, sending gifts of food to others, and matanot la'evyunim, charity to the poor. Because the Jewish people don't just celebrate. It's all about relationships and how we care for each other. Well, let's set the historical scene. The Temple of Solomon has long gone. The Jews have been dispersed by the Babylonian exile across the Middle East. And in one particular place, country, Persia as we know it today, there is a very large Jewish population. The book of Esther is read in the synagogue in the night and the day. Every word must be heard. Everyone should come to hear it, because the more who come to hear it, the greater the miracle is publicized. Well, if we think about Megillat Esther, we will almost consider it to be like a Brothers Grimm fairy tale. the characters in it. The drunken king, the queen who was sent away for her vulgar behavior. On Purim in synagogue, we read the scroll of Esther from an original parchment. I'm holding in my hand a printed copy, which every member of the congregation will follow as the reader reads the scroll. We chant the scroll in a particular melody. It goes like this. Vayehi bimei Achashverosh, hu Achashverosh, hamolech mehod uviad Kush. It tells us at the beginning of the days of the king and how far his kingdom reached. And one by one, the characters in the story are introduced. So King Achashverosh throws a 6-month party, and the queen Vashti refuses to join in. So she is replaced by a new queen after months of searching for the woman who will fulfill all Achashverosh's earthly desires. And her name is Esther, and she is found by her uncle Mordecai. But the fantastic fact is that no one knows that she is of the Jewish faith. Mordecai reminds her time and time again, don't tell anyone who you are. But then we come to the part of the story where we hear that Haman wants to destroy the Jewish people. A man wishes to exterminate us. Does that sound as though it belongs to history books 2,500 years ago?